Welcome to Yeshiva Daf Shir sponsor Nishma Sam Yakashom Le'Abbas Yitzchok. We're holding about Basra Daf Yud Gimel. We're starting the second line. It says the Gemara. If you have a tracklin, a big room, you don't divide it unless you have enough for each one. Same way, what happens they don't have? They don't have enough to divide. Each one should have a chashav v'chelik. If you don't mind, is dino the good or igud? There's a din of good or igud. What's good or igud? One can come and say, I want to divide it. I don't want to be your partner anymore. Now, we can't split it into half. So either you come and give me a price, or I'll give you money. Either you give a fixed price, or I give a fixed price. Good means a fixed price. You divide it this way. You can't split a different way, so one of us has to pay. Good or igud. This is, by the way, very Indian that we do in business too. A lot of times when you have make an operating agreement between two, that you can say, if you have to split the business, good day, good. Someone has to pay, the other one is going to take it back. Says the Gemara, but just to mention, the Machlekes that's brought down already in Taisis. Taisis brings, the Re says, you could say, I wanted to do it for very expensive money. Right? We'll split it, but you have to pay me much more. It says the Ritzvah Taisis, if so, each person, let's say you have a rich person and a poor person. The poor person is able to pay for the field, but he's not able to pay 20 times more. So the rich person will always be able to kick him out. So therefore the Ritzvah says, no, it has to be fair market value. Fair market value, I could say, let's go basically, which is also using today, take market value, and we'll do good or good. Says the Gemara, Rav Nachman disagrees. You can't force the separation. According to you, the old is no good or good. What happens if it's something you can't split, like a slave and a behemoth male? What are you going to do? What's the problem? He's going to be working 1 day for one and 2 days for the other. Now, the way, as we should point out, Taiz explains, what was the question and answer? What was the chiddush? Because in 2 days, you can accomplish much more than 2 1 days. Part needs to get double. But if I have a worker that can work for 2 full days, I can send him to a trip 6 hours away. He's going to work for 24 hours and come back 6 hours. Right? I can accomplish much more. 1 day I can't. So what I'm saying, if you give Pchar 2 days and the Pasha 1 day, the Pchar will benefit much more than double. That's not fair. Says the Gemara, that was the opposite. Says the Gemara, no, but there's no other way to divide it, that's how you divide it. Says the Gemara, you have the Evet, who's half Evet, half Nechayim. Maybe this Rabbi Yemechot, this Atzva Yemechot. He has to work this Rabbi 1 day, the other day he's half of Ben Chayim. He can work himself. This is all a Gemara that we learned in Maseches Gittin. But Shamoyim Tikadim is Rabbi is Afro Tikadim. That's very nice. His master is settled. He has what he needs. But what about him? He can't marry a Shivcha because he's half Ben Chayim. Because he's half Evet. The very long taste over here. It also goes back to in Gittin. Why can't he marry Right? The taste brings different things he can do. Why can't he marry Mamzeres, for example? Taste asks. Because Meshucher and a Evet can marry Mamzeres. This goes on to say that's not a way to do it. We don't want to be marrying Mamzerim Yisrael. This brings many other things that maybe could be done. But the more now understands this half and half cannot marry anybody. Yivatel, you want him to be batel? Yeah, ask that children. You have a mitzvah, Torah Barat. He points out of here. Why didn't he say Pruvu? Because Pruvu, maybe you could say, what can you do? I can't do the mitzvah. But like Torah Barat is a mitzvah rabbah. It's a big mitzvah. You force the master to release it. Because the shtar, he has to write a shtar for his domim. And Basil agreed to B'Shalom. What's the only reason Basil changed their mind? Because of Pruvu. Why Pruvu? Good or good. You hold, whenever you have 2 partners, one can sell the other ones, either you give the money, I give the money. So here the Evid says, I want to give you the money. If you hold that you say good or good, so the Chorah should be, that's the reason you should be able to split it, because the Evid wants to get out. No, here the only one who says igud, I will pay you back. The other can't pay him. He can't take him back as a slave. He's ready. They happen to you can't take him back as a slave. So the only possible transaction is that the Eved will take himself, not the owner will take the Eved. So therefore, we say we don't say good igud. Good igud has to be both sides. Each one is able to do it. You have two brothers. One is poor, one is rich. One leaves, you have a merchatz, a piatas, a sabad, where you can press olives. A son leschar, if you're renting it out, a schal will split it. Son leatzma, you want to use it each one for himself. How you not sure Miloni, the rich one tell the poor one that give him a base. Kach lechol avodim v'yechotzu lemechatz. Kach hazeitzu was to be sabad. Tells him, we're gonna split the usage. Bring your slave, bring your servants, and you can use the base of echatz. The one doesn't have servants. Bring your olives and press it. You don't have olives. So what do you see? In other words, the poor man cannot tell him, no, just buy it from me. So you see, you don't say good igud. It was asonami gudiko iguleko. The other one is telling him, you buy it from me. He's not giving the option to buy it from him. It needs to be both ways. I'm giving you an option. Either you buy it or I buy it. We learned in our Mishnah, if you divide, each one gets its own chilek, great. And if not, you have to give money. So you see, it says it clearly in the Mishnah, do good igud. So they want to know you. It's really mechlekes tanai. You take something, I'll take even less. You listen to him. I want to split it. Take you 4 hours. We don't have 4 for each one. We have only 6 hours. You know what? You take 4, I'll take only 2. Well, let's listen to him. We don't listen to him. So how could that be? If it means the way it's written, why we don't go with Rishon Gamliel's? Our Rishon Gamliel says no. The guy's willing to give up. We're missing a piece. You take 4, I'll take less. Of course you listen to him. The good is not Mishnah. Or if he says, listen, either you pay or I pay, we listen to him too. 2 ways to split if there's not enough for both. By good igud. So look, we're talking about no good igud over here. We're talking about like it says. They call on my time of the Shimon is what's the reason of Shimon that says that you don't split it. In other words, even though he's willing to take less, if he says, you know what do you want? You want me to take 4 amas? You'll take 2? Why are you giving up a 2? You want me to pay you? I don't have money to pay you. And even matana, I don't want to get a gift from you. You want to give me a gift? I'm not interested. I'm not interested in getting a gift from you. Someone who hates matanas will live, and that's what I want to be. What Rav Yehuda said, that you say good igud, is really shit Shmuel. And now the Kisvei HaKodesh, we learn in the Mishnah, that the Kisvei HaKodesh, even though they want to divide it, you don't split Kisvei HaKodesh. It's only if it's 1 scroll. So don't divide it into 2. Don't cut it. Is 2 different scrolls, you could split it. Meaning, you'll take one, I'll take another one. If you say that, the good igud, you can't say good igud. What do you mean? I don't want to split. You have a Sefer, I have Nevi'im, I don't want to split. When I have the right to both. I can force it. No, they both want. It's not forcing. One says, even though they both want, 1 kricha you don't divide. 2 krichas, we're able to do it. Just to explain more the question, the more understands that it's not the same value. That's just they have to point this out. One is the Sefer, one is the Nevi'im. So I'm going to take Sefer, you take Nevi'im, you pay me the rest. Or I'll pay you. One of us will take the other one. That's good to equal. So we're talking about the agreed. We do say good to equal. What about Rav Nachman that says you don't say good to equal? They didn't hear it, I don't agree with him. I hold the computer. For lawyers that we don't agree, the 2 brothers, the father left them 2 maidservants. One knows, and one maidservant knew how to bake and cook. The other one knew how to sew. The Rashi says. Or another pshat Rashi a little hard to understand. Talk about each one had a different malacha to do. Also, came for a road to do what to ask what to do. You can't force a split. Why can't you force a split? Say good igut. Says the more shani also the lemar mibayit travayu lemar mibayit travayu. Kikot. Each one needs both. Each one needs a maidservant to cook and to sew. Kikot if one says I'll take this, you take that. Lav good igudu. That's not good igut. Good igut means I need to have the same value. So you know what? You take the maid, I'll pay you. You take both maids, I'll pay you. And you pay me? Well, I'll take both maids, I'll pay you. But to go and say you take one maid, I take another maid, that's not good igut. We're not getting the same value. Each one needs both. So that's not good igut splitting it that way. Something more about kids, they both need it. Then one goes back to the previous harmony that you could force a division. You'll take Torah, I'll take Nevi'im. What do you mean? I want the Nevi'im. Going back to the one that stood before. Again, going back that you're right. You can't force it. I can't force you to take Torah, I take Nevi'im. Either you take Torah, Nevi'im, and you'll pay me, or the opposite, I'll pay you. But if you take Torah, I take Nevi'im, we both need it. Then you don't split. So we'll talk about it, so they agreed. If they agreed, then we don't get involved. So then what we spoke about the split of Nevi'im of one krach, two krachim. So we're going now into the Indian of how to connect the scrolls together. Person can go put Torah and Nevi'im in one scroll. Tez asks, "Hi, when you scroll, the Nevi'im will be above the Torah, and we don't want to put the Nevi'im on Torah." So it's not a problem because what's in one scroll, you don't have that issue. You don't put it all in one scroll. But Torah alone, Nevi'im alone, Ksuvim alone. You don't even put all Nevi'im together. You put each Navi in a separate scroll. And Rashi said, not because you can't put one on top of each other, like we just said you can do that. But the reason is, it should not be looking all like one Torah or one Nevi'im. We should see that everybody has a chashav thing, each one has its own significance. You had 8 Nevi'im all connected together. I told him you could do that. So you see the way you could connect Nevi'im together. Says the Gemara, that's what the Bach says, meaning Chachamim argue on this story, and they say, right? It was not true. Each one was on its own. They brought Torah Nevi'im Ksuvim in one scroll, and we said it's kosher. Here's the Gemara, it says, between a chumash and Torah, arba'ah shittim. You have 4 lines in between. Between chumash and chumash, you have to have 4 lines. That's what Torah says, beginning of Gittin. That's what we know, 4 lines times 3 is 12. That's what the Git has to be 12 lines. And everybody asks, what about why it's 3? It's 4 separations. Because you have between Bamidbar and Dvarim. Torah says between Bamidbar and Dvarim, it's not going to be a separation. But anyway, what it says will be between chumash and chumash, you have to have 4 lines. If you have Nevi'im together, you have to have between each Navi 4 lines, even if you only put it together. There's a gears over here that, according to the Rambam, it's 3 lines. And when you have the Treyasar, which is the Navi you can put together, according to everybody, they have to have 3 lines in between. When you end one part in the bottom, you start the next part at the top. Rashi learns that referring to everything we just mentioned, Chumash and Navi. You end in one page, you start the next page, and that's fine. You don't have to do the 4 lines if you start the next page. Tosfos disagrees, and Tosfos brings you 2 pshat, but the second pshat is, by Chumash you always have to end in the middle of the page, because it's really all one Torah. You're not allowed to finish a Chumash at the bottom of the page. The Chumash is in the middle of the page, and then you have 4 lines. By Navi, you're allowed to end at the bottom of the page and continue the next page. That's good by Navi, not by Chumash. That Tosfos brings one of the pshatim. That and Tosfos also discusses, even if you end at the bottom and the top, do you still have to have the lines or not? Another discussion in Tosfos, fasting and yonim have to do with the halachas with Ktivas Sefer Torah. We'll stop over here, continue from here, Be'ez Hashem, in the next daf. Kol Tov.